Hello and welcome back everyone, it's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Symmetry, which you can tell obviously from the title that's written in here on the thumbnail, but you can also tell it from the fact that Sleuth is standing in a house of mirrors, looking absolutely horrified, I must say. I sympathize. I'm not a big fan of House of Mirrors, I don't get the fun of it or appeal of it whatsoever. And hopefully this is not how we're going to look in half an hour or so by the time we solve today's puzzle. Well, ambitious claims, I'm confident that we will solve it. It is a 1-star difficulty rating for a midweek puzzle. Let's take a look at what we have in store for today. So we've got Symmetry by Ratfinkz, and a relatively straightforward set of rules today. First rule, normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box as outlined by the thicker dark lines. We have the sequence of digits along grey palindrome lines must read the same in both directions. So essentially these grey lines are palindromes. And if that was a 1, that would have to be a 1. If that's a 2, that would have to be a 2. You will need to basically be able to read this the same forwards or backwards. And I know I'm focused on this line, but all of these grey lines are palindromes. And I guess that's really what all the symmetry is about. Well, I see a little bit more symmetry, also rotational symmetry. We'll come back to that maybe as part of the solve. Lastly, we have digits in cages may not repeat and must sum to the total in the top left corner. So for example, if we pick this 9 cage down here, if that was a 2, this would have to be a 7. That's because this cage, which is outlined by the dashed line, needs to make sure that these two cells are in the cage are summing up to the top left corner total, which is a 9. So 2 and 7 works. Well, that's all the rules we have for today. And if you are not scared of houses of mirrors and you're not put off by them and you feel like giving this puzzle a go, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And all that's left is for me to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I can see that there is a few cages where they are basically forced. So I'm just going to write them in for now. And then we're going to talk about them. Because two cells in for a 3 cage can only be 1 or 2, can only be 1, 3, can only be 8, 9, and can only be 7, 9 because of the totals and the number of cells involved. And that's basically where kind of the solution path ends without probably having to use these palindromes. The other thing that I did remark about in the intro is the rotational symmetry of this. So if you see these two cages, they both add up to 20. These two cages, they both add up to 20. If you rotate this grid around kind of the center point here, 180 degrees, you can see that these cages line up, and somehow they basically seem to add up to 10s. So potentially if this is a 1, that would be a 9. I'm not sure that's entirely going to be true. Yes, that 9 and 11 have rotational symmetry, but actually it breaks here with the 12 and 7. So I'm not sure that is always going to be true. Now, something that I will probably do for palindromes is use a bit of colors. Essentially what I'm saying here is, whatever this cell is, it's a green. The counterpart on this palindrome has to be green as well. Now, clearly I have no idea what green is, but what it allows me to do is to avoid having to constantly sort of keep counting backwards and forwards, trying to figure out what everything is. I'm going to do the same in here. I'm going to reuse the same colors. It doesn't necessarily mean they're the same digits. Please ignore that. This is just purely to try and avoid having to do a lot of counting of cells from positions in the palindrome. Right, and essentially these are the two center points of these palindromes. I'm only really interested in the longer ones at the moment. Now, the question that comes to mind is probably the next step for me as the killer cages. Because there's really like nothing else on the grid. So it is going to be about the killer cages. For example, you can see that on this palindrome, none of these cells can be 1. We essentially eliminated 1 with the 1, 2 pair in here, 1 with the 1, 3 pair. And these are essentially flipped. So none of these can be 1, none of these can be 1, nor can its center point, because that's a 1, 3. I'm guessing something similar is going on with 9s in here. Yes, they are, and also not the center. So essentially, we remove 1 as an option from the 7 cage. We remove 9 as an option from the 12 cage. I'm kind of hoping that we can do more and we can actually place some digits. So no 1's in the 7 cage. This could be... It's actually even more restricted because that can't be a 2. Nor can it be a 3, actually. So it can't be... Let's just focus on yellow because it can see a lot of cells. Yellow cannot be 1, 2, or 3. They all see this cell. So the options that are left are 4, 5, and 6. That can add up to 7. Now, I already said green can't be a 1. It can see 1 and 2. And in fact, because it can see 1 and 2, it can only be a 3 to go with the 4 to allow us to fill in this 7 cage. 12 cage maybe. Let's go with yellow again. Let's see 7, 8, and 9. So yellow in here, it's got to be less than 6. So it's 3, 4, or 5. Green cannot be 9 or 8. So maximum it can be a 7, which goes along with a 5. And you can see that rotational symmetry is already broken, probably because of this cage. I mean, it's 7 and 3 are mapping on each other, but 4 and 5 are not. Had this been an 8, well, it would have required 2 5s, I imagine, and then it would have broken. So that's one of the reasons I'm sure it's not entirely rotationally symmetrical. Shall we think about the next cage now that we've got quite a few digits looking at this red cell? So what can this red cell be? I can see that it is not 7 or 9 or 5 or 3. So let's just think about options. It could be 1, to be fair. It can't be 2 because that would put a 2 in here and a 7 in the same cage. So no 2, 7 in here. 7s are out of the 9 cage. It could be 3 with a 6. That works. It can even be a 4 with a 5. So there's actually actually no 3s. No 3s. I was going to say there's still quite a few options, but hopefully we can whittle them down a bit. Can't be 5s. Could be 6s. Yeah, with the 3 in here. Clearly can't be 7s. And can be 8s. Incredibly. Annoyingly, I should say. So that's not very helpful. 11 cage. Well, 1 is not very useful anyway, because it doesn't apply to the 11. I could have a 2. As far as I could tell, I could place a 2 in here with a 9 in there. Nothing stops that. Can't be 3 or 4. Could be 5, 6. Could be 6, 5. Can't be 7. Can't be 8 and 3, but could be 9 and 2, unfortunately. That's still a lot of options. That really is still a lot of options. So I am probably missing something fascinating that I should be doing to actually make some progress. And normally, when I'm missing something to make some progress, it is normally Sudoku. Sorry, I should think out loud. I'm sort of looking at the 1, 2. Where does the 2 go in this box? The answer was many places. Many, many places. And the same is true with the 8. But I mean, these probably have more restrictions than may seem. Maybe the blue one in particular, because it sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9. This is restricted to 5, 6, 7. Oh, of course. Pay attention, Sleuth. You colored them in and then just entirely ignored them. Shall we not ignore them, perhaps? So yeah, this purple also sees the 4 then. So it sees 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 8, and 9. This is another 5, 6, 7. Which gives me, just here is some digits. That's a 4. Sudoku. That's not 4. That's not 4. That's not 5. I mean, the fact that I've actually bothered to written the palindrome in that 5 has restricted me to 1, 8 or 3, 6. Have I got something else going on in here? Maybe. Once I pay attention, maybe. I mean, 3, 8 was already ruled out. 2, 9 is still available. 5, 6 is still available. So not sure it really has, if I'm honest. We've got 3s in here. Not very helpful. We do have a 5, and it's not on this purple, because it would see this. It's not on, and Sudoku gives me all of these. It gives me a 5 in here, which removes a 5, a 5, a 6. So getting there. This is 2, 9 or 5, 6 still, but getting there. What else do we have? These cells, again, they see a ton of digits, don't they? Because they see 1 and 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. So what's left is 3, 4, 6, I'm going to say. That's not a 3 though. That's not a 7. So they're kind of slowly working towards influencing each other, but very slowly, I must say. What I'm trying to see is, how do these digits help me in any other way? I think it's kind of like, it's just a question that's quite interesting at the moment for me. Here's something else. Ones, we know, okay, let's just look at the orange cell for a second, because again, they see a reasonable number of digits, and certainly not as much, but I mean, 1, 3, and 4 are all eliminated. I think the most important one I was looking for is there are no 1s. So where does 1 go in this box? Well, it can't be this cell. Is the deduction I made, and then I absolutely ruined my explanation for. Why did I make that deduction? Yeah, so this can't be a 1. This can't be a 1. 1s are already eliminated from this box, and 1s are eliminated from here. So I need a 1 in there. That's got to be the 1, isn't it? Because that can't be a 1. Yeah, that can't be a 1. That's correct. So I probably have something similar going on here. Maybe with 9s. Probably with 9s. Yeah, this can't be a 9. Therefore, this cannot be a 9. So 9s are not in this row anywhere in here except this cell. So that's a 9, which actually removes a 9 from here, a 9 from there, therefore a 2 from here. And this 1 is removing a 1 from there, a 1 from there, and an 8 from here. It's a very slow, methodical progress to be able to figure out what's going on. 1s, you can see now, is on this palindrome. 1s is on this palindrome. I'm guessing we've got something similar with 9s. Yeah, no 9s. 9 is in here. In fact, I can do better. That 1 eliminates this 1, and therefore this is a 1. And the same is true. That's not the 9. That's the 9. That's the 9. 9 can see the 5. Can the 1? Yes. 3, 6. Progress. 5, 6. Doesn't help me with the 2 or 6, surprisingly. Okay. What about orange now? Like in both of these palindromes, they suddenly are under a ton of pressure, aren't they? Actually, I should just fill in the 6. And yeah, that rotational symmetry is totally broken now with 6 mapping onto itself here. That's not a 6 either, because it can see it from here. That's not a 6 either. I say either because, I can still have a 6 in here, so that actually isn't helpful. But that means no. Means nothing. For a second there, I was hoping for a pair, and the answer is no, it is not a pair. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What else? I mean, orange it really is about time. I've basically pencil marked everything at this point except orange and these palindromes. So this can't be 1. It could be 2. It's not 3, it's not 4, it's not 5, it's not 6, it's not 7. Could also be 8 at the moment. We have something else similar going on here. It's clearly not 1, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. It could be, it's not 7, because 7 can see this cell. And it can't be 9. So yeah, 2, 8 again. And what it doesn't give me is 1s. So we have 1 in here, which you can see lines up with box 7. So that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 1. I'm guessing it doesn't give me 9s. So if I think about 9s for a second, yes, where are 9s? They are in here, lining up with this 8-9 pair. That's got to be a 9. Therefore, that's a 9. And that gives me this 7 and 9. So what have I got left? I need a 4 in here somewhere. So I need 1, 2, 8 and a 4. No clue. What do I need in here? I need... Well, we've got 3, 4, 6, so we've got 1 digit between them. And I've got a 7 and 8 in here. No 8s. No 8s anywhere in here, which gives me the 2. Have I got something similar going on here? Yeah, no 2s anywhere in there. That's a 2. Give me an 8. It's a lovely puzzle, the way it's sort of slowly but surely unwinding. The 2 is not joining the 9 in here. That's the 2. And I'm guessing the 8 is not joining the 1 in here. That's the 8. Should be able to just write these in now. It is 1, 4. And this is now 7, 9, I think. Which gives me a whole bunch of digits here. That's 5, that's 6, that's 6, that's 5. That's not 7, that's just an 8 to actually complete the column. And something similar going on here. The 4 gives me the 3, the 6, and therefore the 6, the 3. This is now a 4, 7 pair. Well, let's just finish this, in fact, rather than... that has to be a 2, I believe. Yeah, that's not a 2. That's a 3, 7 pair. That 7 actually resolves it. So I'm kind of surprised the 4, 7 isn't resolved on the other side. So this is 3 and 7. 4, 7 for some reason not resolved on this side. What do we have in here to finish things up? We've got 2, 7, 2, 5, 7. Which is actually these digits. And in here, is that 3, 4, 8? Yep. There's a lot of symmetry that I'm not entirely getting with this puzzle. It sort of breaks in places, but then it doesn't break in others. And it's fascinating. That gives me a 9 in here, an 8 in there, an 8, a 9, a 7. And this 3, 4, 8 gives me a 1, a 4. That 1 gives me the 1 and 2. This 4, 7 still not resolved. Like I said, fascinating. Probably we should think about this palindrome because, I mean, I'm sure there's a bit more Sudoku as well, but let's just think about this palindrome. So in this column, we need a 4, 7 and an 8. Can this be 4, 7? I mean, it can be 4. And either of them can be an 8, so not helpful. Bit of a shame. How do I know so little about 4s? What am I missing? I mean, I know a ton about 6s, such as there is a 6 in the center. I mean, with 6 mapping onto itself, that's not a surprise. So tempting to use this rotational symmetry to try and actually sort of plug away and see if it's all working, but let's just not use it just yet. So we've got 2 and 4 in here. Not helpful. We need 5 and 8 in here. Also not helpful. Let's try this again. We've got 4, 7, and 8. Definite 8. That can't be an 8. That can't be a 7. Don't know, I didn't spot this the first time around. That's a 7, that's a 4, that's an 8. And that's a 2, that's a 4. 5 is still not resolved. What do we need in here? We need the 7 and the 2. That 7 gives me the order. That's the 7, that's the 2. And just Sudoku here gives me not 6. Not 2 either. What am I not seeing? 7. Which now gives me a whole bunch of digits up here. That's 5, that's 2, that's 7. Gives me no digits there, but the 4 did much earlier. So 3, 8, 4. This 5, 8 still not resolved, but just I'm guessing Sudoku will bring this home now. 1s. No. 2s. Maybe. Yeah. 3s, you can see not here, not there. 4, 5, ignore the 5, come back. 6, we've done 7, we've done 8, 9. Yeah. So these are from 1, 5, and 8. I mean, 8 is not in there. That's the 8. That's the 5. That's the 8. And then the 5s, this is the 1. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's the 5 and the solution to today's puzzle. It's a beautiful puzzle, Ratfinkz. It's almost worthy of a study about rotational symmetry because, yeah, it's just fascinating how it's rotationally symmetrical in parts and then not rotationally symmetrical in parts. And I'm not entirely sure I get why. Just that 7 cage and 12 cage just made a world of difference. Absolute world of difference. So, hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle. Maybe the smarter individuals amongst you might be able to explain what on earth is going on that with this geometry forcing all of this very strange symmetry, but not quite. Just, I guess, like a house of mirrors. Hope that you enjoyed the video. See you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.